Hi, and welcome to ThreatTraq Essentials, where we take a look at some of the everyday cybersecurity lessons that we can learn from this week's ThreatTraq stories. I'm here with Ganesh Kasina. Welcome, Ganesh.
Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah, you were on the show this week, and you brought us an interesting story. It was about a cryptocurrency mining botnet. Well, let's just say bad malware.
Yeah.
But it did things in an unusual way, right?
I mean, yeah, it's not usual way you say a botnet or malware using YouTube profiles to, basically download some malicious stuff. In this case, it's leveraging YouTube description to basically provide the list.
So what the bad guys did, they actually put some hidden code in YouTube descriptions, and that's not how the malware got on the computer, was it?
No, this is not how the computer got on the but after the initial infection, the infected machines to get the real malware, that's how it contacts with the C2 IPs. In this case,
that's the command and control.
proxy.
That's what gives the malware its instructions.
Yeah, next stages of the malware, in this case, Monero miner, which is used for mining the Monero miner in this case. It's not hidden in the sense, if you see in the description, it's clearly visual, but it's in a hexadecimal format, and which is when decoded, it basically translates into IP address format, which we call quad format, like 1.2.3.4, for example. That's how it tries to reach out to the proxy miner. So
the bad guys were very clever here. In what ways do we have to be clever to protect ourselves against attacks like this?
In this case, the initial threat of this botnet has evolved from ad injections. That's basically when you try to visit a site, it tries to inject some code into the browser. That could be another way to basically inject the YouTube profile also in this case.
Okay. Now, Mike Klepper brought us a story about some gas pumps that were skimming credit card information. I've heard of ATMs doing that. This was a little different, right? How was the gas pump doing that?
In this case, at the gas station, someone put a pinhole camera just directly pointing to the keypad where, someone is trying to get the gas and try to enter the pin of the debit card. And they want to capture it. The reason they want to capture it, most of these gas stations nowadays have encrypted communication. But it's not easy to break encryption, but if someone has a pin for that one, it's very easy to basically correlate with the data they have to grab it.
To get the pin that goes with that card?
Yeah.
Right, so this is a way they found to bypass that and get the information.
Yeah. This is easier way to break the encryption instead of spending hours of computing powers to break it. And also the interesting fact is they are using the low Bluetooth energy. The module has some logic built into it. If no one is near the pump, it will not be activated. I think it has some kind of sensor. It activates itself when it senses some activity near the pump.
So when someone comes near the pump, that would activate this whole device and the camera.
Yeah, and it tries to grab whatever the session is happening. The bad guys come any time, and they need to be close proximity to it. They have to be in the range of the Bluetooth range, and they can wirelessly basically dump the data to it.
So they can just sit in their car and grab all the data that way.
Exactly.
And that way they're not seen going near the pump and they're arousing suspicion. So, okay, again, very clever attackers. What sorts of things should we tell people to protect themselves?
I think at gas stations, maybe any of the stores, it's always better to use credit rather than debit, where money will be gone instantaneously, right? If you got your PIN leaked, someone can basically siphon off the money of the debit card account. Maybe if possible, switch to cash if we have, $20, $30 cash. And also look for any tampering evidences. For example, there will be some seals on the gas pumps. They might be broken.
Like stickers? They look
stickers, like on a laptop we see a void sticker, like if something is broken, it's like void's a warranty, right? Something like that. Maybe something looks odd, like protruding out of the gas pump itself, something is stuck to the panel.
So any kind of like unusual hardware gas pump, best to go down the road to the next gas station and avoid the
if possible.
And tell somebody about it
too. Somebody.
Now, Andy brought us a story about a Trojan that was stealing data. It was able to spread ransomware. Rather than focus on that malware itself, let's talk about how people were getting this malware. It was through games, right?
This is through the games as well as from the legitimate apps. I think side-loading the apps, for example, LogMeIn, some Google apps. When they side-loaded actually with the regular app, they are also side-loading this malicious part of it. For example,
I was just saying, what is side-loading exactly?
In this case, for example, I'm going and getting some app from the Google Play Store. Let's say like some game, a Tetris game app, but you're getting the app, but the developer sometimes they put in some code to sideload some malicious thing along with that specific app, which is unknown to the user. But even though we got the app from the store, sometimes these malicious apps sideload from it. And also once they are on the machine, they try to leverage their, escalate the privileges. For example, if it's on a Windows PC, it tries to elevate to the admin privileges so that it has more power, maybe more ways to propagate itself within the network.
More access to the machine, right?
Yeah.
More.
Yeah. And also maybe it can be leveraged, as you said, for ransomware. In this case, I think they're using next step to encrypt the data and use for ransomware demands.
Well, we all use apps, we all play games. So what advice can we give people when they're downloading an app or a game?
Yeah, first of all, look at the App Store or anywhere, what's the ratings? I mean, how much the publisher has authenticity, try to find out. I mean, if it seems some app with which is questionable intent, if it's not verified, go to Google or Apple or someone, try not to get it. And also try to have some point of endpoint protection.
What is that?
Endpoint protection is, it's similar to antivirus, but also not only antivirus, you also have host-based malware analysis, anti-malware techniques. There are some products which are free and very good ones. Maybe having those actually try to flag whenever some sort of this thing happens.
So kind of like antivirus software to protect your device. Yeah. So it'll warn you if you're downloading something malicious.
Something malicious, and even if you download, sometimes the trigger itself may warn you, something is not right.
Okay. Yeah. Well, great. Thanks for being on the show, Ganesh. It was great having you here. And thank you for watching. As always, if you want to learn more about these stories, click on the playlist below, and you can take a deeper dive into any of them. We'll see you next time.